The story of Red Bull begins in the early 1980s, when Austrian marketer Dietrich Mateschitz, working for the hygiene products company Blendax, took a business trip to Thailand. There he discovered a popular energy drink among truck drivers and night shift workers called Krating Dang, created by Thai pharmacist Chaleo Uvidya. Krating Dang was a sweet drink rich in caffeine and taurine, sold in brown bottles, used as a physical and mental stimulant. Mateschitz realized that the formula had global potential, especially among young people and professionals with intense routines, but would need adjustments in taste, marketing, and branding to work outside Asia. In 1984, Dietrich partnered with Chaleo, and together they founded Red Bull GmbH in Austria. They agreed that Mateschitz would handle internationalization and brand positioning, while Chaleo maintained original rights and part of the ownership. They slightly modified the formula for Western tastes and completely redesigned the brand image. The name Red Bull, a translation of Krating Dang, literally Red Bull, was preserved, but was associated with a modern, energetic, bold identity. The logo, featuring two bulls clashing, symbolized strength and vigor. After years of planning and testing, Red Bull launched officially in 1987 in Austria. Despite initial skepticism from regulators, distributors, and consumers, the brand quickly gained popularity, especially among young people, university students, night workers, and athletes. Red Bull didn't want to act like a typical soft drink. It didn't compete on flavor. It sold liquid functionality, a tool for mental and physical performance. That concept was new in Europe and accompanied a completely different marketing strategy. Instead of traditional advertising, the company focused on bold, nonconformist tactics, free samples at clubs and universities, sponsorships of extreme sports and underground events, adoption of the iconic slogan, "Red Bull gives you wings," even in its early years, Red Bull Flügel in German. By the end of the 1980s, Red Bull had already become a phenomenon in Austria, Germany, and neighboring countries. Though still small in revenue, it revolutionized the beverage market by creating a new category: energy drinks. This foundation, global vision, niche targeting, disruptive marketing, and a functional product would underpin a global empire in the years to come. Between 1991 and 1995, Red Bull took decisive steps to become more than just an eccentric Austrian drink. It became a global brand and a benchmark in unconventional marketing. In the early 1990s, the company had already consolidated in Austria and was successfully expanding to neighboring countries like Germany, Hungary, and Slovenia. Growth came not from standard ads, but from strategic word of mouth, targeted distribution, and guerrilla marketing toward young urbanites, students, and athletes. Red Bull pioneered something unprecedented in beverages, a lifestyle tied to performance, adrenaline, and rebellion. It didn't just fuel consumers, it sold attitude. During this period, the well-known Red Bull cars, vehicles topped with giant cans, began circulating at campuses, beaches, and parties, handing out samples and boosting brand presence. The company also began sponsoring extreme athletes, skateboarders, BMX riders, skydivers, snowboarders, motocross racers, before these sports became media staples. This forged Red Bull's image as young, daring, and authentic, far from traditional soft drink brands. In terms of distribution, the focus was on alternative channels: bars, convenience stores, gas station marts, and nightclubs, places where consumers needed a quick energy boost. Red Bull also encouraged mixing with alcohol, for example, vodka, which stirred controversy but significantly increased its popularity among youth. By 1995, Red Bull was perceived as a cultural brand, not just a product. It maintained a lean operational model from its Austria headquarters, and Mateschitz himself led efforts to preserve the brand's distinct positioning in each market. At this point, the results spoke for themselves. A drink once thought unlikely was now selling in the millions of cans per year, with high profit margins and steady growth, and it was virtually unchallenged. This early success paved the way for future expansion into the UK, Scandinavia, and ultimately the United States. Between 1996 and 2000, Red Bull entered its phase of aggressive international expansion and global brand dominance. After capturing Austria and Central Europe, it set sights on the UK and the US. In 1997, Red Bull debuted in the UK, facing regulatory scrutiny over its caffeine and taurine content. Still, it continued its disruptive marketing approach and quickly became popular among young professionals, nightlife workers, and students. That same year, Red Bull launched in the United States, starting in California, a prime market known for youth culture and innovation. The impact was immediate. The small Lotta format, unique taste, and functional proposition stood out in American grocery aisles. Red Bull replicated its European model: campus promoters, underground events, distribution in bars, clubs, gyms, and the signature Red Bull sample cars. The difference was clear. Red Bull sold experiences, not just a drink. During this time, Red Bull began building its sporting and cultural empire. It sponsored athletes and small events in extreme sports, reinforcing its image as a bold, courageous brand. Although it hadn't yet entered Formula One or produced large-scale productions, the DNA was clear. By 2000, Red Bull was available in over 30 countries, selling hundreds of millions of cans annually, and becoming synonymous with energy drinks. No other company had matched its business model: a unique product, bold marketing, and focused distribution. By the end of the decade, Dietrich Mateschitz had proven that a simple idea, providing people energy, properly positioned, could create a global category. Red Bull had become more than a drink. It had become a brand of culture, youth, and pushing limits. From 2001 to 2010, Red Bull evolved from just an energy drink into a global powerhouse of marketing, entertainment, and extreme sports. With operations in dozens of countries and strong sales growth, the company invested heavily in proprietary projects, events, teams, and content productions that shaped its identity. Founded Red Bull Media House in 2007, creating audio-visual content, magazines, documentaries, and sports coverage, all with the brand's spirit. Sponsored or created major events: Red Bull Air Race, X-Fighters, Crashed Ice, and Rampage mountain biking. Built teams like Red Bull Salzburg, Austria, RB Leipzig, Germany, and developed esports divisions. In 2005, Red Bull acquired the Jaguar Formula One team, creating Red Bull Racing, headquartered in the UK with top-tier facilities. Supported elite athletes in skate, surf, skydiving, BMX, motocross, winter sports, all within Red Bull's rebellious ethos. Expanded further into Latin America and Asia, entering over 100 countries. Launched new products like Red Bull Sugar Free and various Red Bull editions. Refined its marketing with a creative, consistent visual style and the iconic slogan, "Red Bull gives you wings." By 2010, Red Bull was selling over 4 billion cans per year, was the undisputed leader in energy drinks, and one of the most memorable youth brands worldwide. Mateschitz and his team had turned a Thai beverage into a global cultural phenomenon. Between 2011 and 2015, Red Bull reached its global visibility peak, turning marketing events into historic spectacles and dominating media, sports, and brand innovation. The defining moment came in 2012 with Red Bull Stratos, the stratosphere jump. Austrian skydiver Felix Baumgartner jumped from over 39,000 meters, breaking the sound barrier in free fall. The event, broadcast live to millions, cemented Red Bull as a brand that quite literally transcends limits. Meanwhile, Red Bull Racing clinched 4 consecutive F1 World Championships, 2010-2013, with driver Sebastian Vettel, transforming a struggling team into a championship powerhouse. In football, Red Bull strengthened clubs like Salzburg and New York Red Bulls, and laid the groundwork for RB Leipzig, which would soon join Germany's Bundesliga. During this era, Red Bull also reached over 160 countries, sold billions of cans annually with high margins and fully in-house marketing, continued to launch bespoke events, sponsor elite athletes, and produce high-end audio-visual content. By 2015, Red Bull was no longer just a drink. It was a global media, sports, and lifestyle platform, admired across generations. From 2016 to today, Red Bull entered a phase of strategic maturity and constant reinvention, maintaining its leadership in energy drinks while expanding as a global platform for culture, sport, and entertainment. In sports, Red Bull Racing reclaimed the spotlight in F1. With Max Verstappen and a Honda engine, the team won the Drivers' Championship in 2021, ending Mercedes' reign, and followed with victories in 2022, 2023, and 2024, cementing its dominance in modern F1. In football, RB Leipzig joined the German Bundesliga in 2016 and quickly rose to prominence, playing in the UEFA Champions League. Red Bull also replicated this success with Red Bull Bragantino in Brazil, which ascended to Serie A and set new standards in club management. Red Bull Media House grew significantly. New digital channels, streaming partnerships, and series documentaries on sports, adventure, and culture. The brand now dominates YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, producing content with millions of monthly views, engaging new generations. In beverages, Red Bull focused on core consistency, few variants, strong marketing, precise distribution, and stable branding, complemented by seasonal flavors, limited editions, and integrated campaigns. After Dietrich Mateschitz's death in 2022, his legacy endured. His vision to build a brand that transcends its product remains central. Today, Red Bull operates in over 175 countries, sells 11+ billion cans annually, and ranks among the most valuable and influential brands on Earth. Today, Red Bull operates in over 175 countries, sells 11+ billion cans annually, and ranks among the most valuable and influential brands on Earth. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell.